Hello, 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 and welcome to Basement Game Center. I'm Ralph, and tonight I'm going to be playing Doom. I am on the stage Titan's Realm, and I will be beginning in a few minutes. So just hold on till then. Just pulling up the YouTube gaming app so I can view all you pretty people's comments. Game slot 1. Yes. Alright. Let's continue. I'm gonna turn off the mic for a second. Just one moment. Yeah, I think Kirby Pletty is medium. Sounds about right. The names of the difficulties come from the, excuse me, first game. From, I guess it was 93 as the first game came out. Excuse me. Swallowed wrong. Gonna take another sip of water. Oh, much better. Ooh, a rune?
The age of his reckoning was uncounted. The scribes carved his name deep in the tablets of hell across eons, and each battle etched terror in the hearts of the demons. They knew he would come, as he always had, as he always will, to feast on the blood of the wicked, for he alone could draw strength.
The names of the difficulties come from the ancient Hebrew text discovered on Mars by the Curiosity rover. That's really interesting. Yeah, the lore of these games, it's pretty cool. I played Doom 3, but I don't remember much of it, and I don't think I finished it, honestly. I wasn't crazy about it because they went for a horror route rather than, you know, this is kind of like an action game. There's like, I guess, like a horror element to it, but it's not scary. At least not to me. Oh, I just made that up. It's not game lore. Really? I thought you were looking it up. The Curiosity rover's a real thing, though, right? Or did you make that up? Date the Curiosity rover, if that's the one that's actually going around on Mars. Because I know they got some stuff out on that planet. Yeah, it's real. Okay, I was gonna say that you did a good job. It sounded legit. It sounded very like a very legitimate explanation, or at least within the realms of the game. I was gonna say I didn't know that. How about that? When did the Curiosity rover land on Mars? A few years ago? I personally don't know much about it. Maybe I'll learn something. Yeah, this goes. Oh, it's out of ammo. Nope. ...2012 it landed. So yeah, it's only been a few years. It's funny because my phone gets the messages prior to when my system does, when it pops up in the corner to notify me. There's another rover. Really? Oh, you can only do it once. I don't know the name though. Ooh. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought Doom was just, run around shooting demons. Well, this game's had a narrative. I guess the third game did to some degree. But I know the first game only had like the instruction manual. To tell you like what happened before you just like show up with a gun, pointing forward, it's like, okay, go. There's not much to go off besides that. And for Doom 2, I believe it was similar. You just kind of start off at a place, and then you go, and then you shoot shit. And the shit gets bigger as you go, and you get more guns, and you shoot more shit. Cool game. kind of like what this game is, but they put in a story, and they're like, Olivia Newton-John built a robot suit, and there is a robot with a brain in it, and he's harnessed hell energy to give to Earth because we need it, and technological advancements, but then the portal opened, and then there was that Doom movie with The Rock. I don't really remember much about that movie. I remember there being a lot of zombies and not a whole lot of Doom monsters. And I remember The Rock became a monster, zombie thing. Because he was like a bad guy in it. Sort of. And the last like 10 minutes of the movie are in first person perspective. I only saw it once. I saw it when it came out in theaters. And I was like, well, that was something. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. I thought the sequence at the end was pretty interesting, and I think everybody I went with was like, oh, if they shot the whole film that way, that would have been a lot better. You should have just got a whole movie in first person. I mean, that would have been interesting, I guess. I don't know how. It would have to be pretty well done for it to be enjoyable. And even then, I don't know. Sounds kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, maybe because you don't have control. It's in first person, but you don't have control. Russia tried to send 2 rovers in 1971. Rover history is cool. It is cool. I agree with that. I was so disappointed in astronomy class because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna learn about the stars. I love stars and space and looking up in the night sky and going, oh, I wonder what's out there. And it was all just fucking math. It was like, this is a math class in disguise. Just kidding. And I realized, oh man, this isn't for me. I like space. I like the concept of space. Maybe God is just a cluster of stars, kind of like in Futurama. That'd be pretty cool. We had Sojourner rover, which lasted a few months in 1997. Huh. I wonder when they're gonna get the balls to send a person to Mars. You know? I guess because there's a lot of factors, right? People got families. Takes a lot of time to train somebody. They gotta be a pretty smart somebody to be able to operate the equipment. It's a long ass journey. And they need a way back. Or they stay on Mars for the rest of their lives. So I say pick somebody who's terminally ill. Maybe, okay. I don't know. This is just a hypothetical. With no family. And they don't have the money to pay for their surgery or whatever. Or there's no cure, it's terminal, right? So the government is like, okay, how would you like to go to Mars? But if they're sickly and terminal, how are they gonna, like, you know, survive that trip? I'm sure it's, like, taxing on the body. But I'm basically like, get a person on Mars, and then they can send you a back video, and they're like, hey, I'm on Mars. It's actually, you can breathe up here. They got trees, there's peaches. They just don't, you can't photograph them. That's what's different about Mars. Some things just don't photograph. Right. So he sent back video and he's eating an invisible peach. The British tried a rover, which also failed. I think the main problem is it takes months to get there. Then we had Spirit and Opportunity. So basically our space stuff is the best. Well, we're like one of the few countries who puts a lot of money into it, from what I understand, also. Although, I don't know. I mean, Russia's pretty into space. It's like Russia, it's cold, you know, it's cold in space. Like, oh, we can go live there. It's Russia. We like to live in space. I can't do accents, but shit. But yeah, you know, maybe space is cold like Russia. True, I was trying for a rare moment of patriotism. Russia fascinates me. Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. They were like the badasses of World War II, also. I think stereotypes can be easily glorified because you think of Russians and they're like the pinnacle of manliness in some ways, you know. They have the thick accent, big beards, big fluffy hats, are heavy vodka drinkers, and can fight bears in their free time and don't mind the cold. So they're like the stereotype I could see being very easily glorified. But even as a country, that's just pretty interesting. The culture and all that good stuff. So I was thinking about this movie. I think it's also a stage play. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a rock opera called Hedwig and the Angry Inch. And it's been a few years since I've seen it. I saw the film version. It's a good movie. But, I was thinking about how the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, and the movie relates to that, in that, the character Hedwig, particular character, is having a romance with a, I want to say American soldier, who promises to get Hedwig out of Soviet Russia. And, now, I'm just trying to recall correctly. If I remember right, in order to get out of the Soviet Union or whatever, was for Hedwig to marry the soldier. But because they were both male, they couldn't get married. I'm not sure. I don't recall. But basically, they could if Hedwig changed genders. So, in order to qualify as a woman, Hedwig has her penis removed to the point that it's only like an inch or something like that. To like properly qualify as female or something. It's strange. In the way that I've explained it, at least, it probably makes a lot more sense in the context of the film. Because, you know, there's a lot of questions in the way that I explained it, like why it's just an inch, you know, and the policies, and it's 1989, so, you know, yada yada yada. Either way, Hedwig gets like into America, and she, I suppose at this point, gets ditched by the American soldier. And the movie, she has a band of transgendered bandmates, and sings about like the beginning of the movie, I think, is the like that origin story sort of thing. I don't know, the movie's done very tastefully. It has really good music. And it's like it's a relatively accessible look at different views of gender. I guess that would be the way I'd like to put it. Yeah. Because gender is like a gender identification. That's, yeah, there we go. That's the word I was looking for. Rick Goforth. Hey, Rick Goforth. Thanks for the subscription. Oh, you've heard of it, Leo? Yeah, you should if you haven't seen it. I mean, there's a billion movies out there, and I'm sure you have a bunch of. Oh, it was ahead of its time. Um, I really enjoyed it. You know, there's all sorts of objectives of film, and one of them can easily get you uh, is to get you to think about something that you wouldn't normally think about. Sometimes it's to escapism is a good one, but also like just information, you know? Like even though set in like a fictional scenario, that helps the viewer look at something from a different perspective. And I think that's something that a lot of film has in common, even, you know, kind of like Hollywood stuff, to a certain degree. Like, whether it's negative or positive. For instance, like, people who watch a lot of crime drama, you know, may be more likely to believe that technology is a little bit more advanced than it is, or that the process in solving certain crimes is more complicated, or more effort is put out than in reality for, you know, like a majority of stuff, you know. So there can be like misunderstandings, but at the same time that can get somebody questioning, especially if it seems fishy to them, like, oh, do they really have all this equipment? And then they can look into it with the wonder of the internet, or back in the day, the library, I guess, you know, bookstore, and learn about something that they wouldn't have normally. I don't know that much about that stuff as far as like crime investigation or whatever. I took a criminology class like years ago, and that's about it. So I really don't know much. What's this? Oh, it's a skull. Yellow skull. I'm here to make weird comments. Yep, that's what Leo does. Alright. So. Let's, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. That's happening. Whew. Oof. I slept in today. Oof. Oh, good invulnerability. That's helpful. Eesh. Get the thingy, get the thingy, get the thingy. I'm not invulnerable anymore. I was up late cleaning and drawing pictures of Ninja Turtles and other things, playing on the internet. I watched the season finale of The Simpsons. It was alright. Marge goes to jail because of an overprotective mother calling the police on her for Bart being unattended at the park, and she is charged with negligence and is put in jail as like an example or something. But then she ends up loving it in jail because she doesn't have to do like all the shit she has like normally deal with at home with the kids and Homer. So she takes the 90 days as like a sort of vacation. But then Homer hires a lawyer that gets Marge off. So she steals the guard's gun and fires it. To get herself more time in jail. But then she accidentally mentions something about, she says break or something, and everybody's like jailbreak, and then there's a jailbreak, and Homer comes dressed as a guard and leads her out. I mean, I don't even know if there was like a beeline thinking about it. Oh, the beeline was just, I guess, Homer and the kids home while Marge was at jail. The opening was pretty good. The couch gag. That's one thing that Simpsons really does have going for it in its old age, is it's getting a lot of guest animators on to do the couch gags, and there's some really wonderful work being done there. The Treehouse of Horrors are usually still pretty good. Pretty decent. I like the show still. I mean, I like old Simpsons, I like new Simpsons, they're just different. Just like King of the Hill, I like early King of the Hill, mid King of the Hill, and late King of the Hill. They're just different, you know, different writers, different, what do you call it, software for animation, you know, moving from traditional to digital 4:3 to the 16:9 format. There's a lot going on. I mean, people should be grateful that there's consistency, at least in the voice actors. As much as I'd like King of the Hill to come back for a few more seasons, or a movie, or God, I just love that show. With Brittany Murphy dead, it just, it kills a lot of the interest for me, because Luann, she played Luann, who was a pretty, I mean, she's one of the main members of the family in the show. And while her part is decreased a bit, towards the end, Like, I don't know. When somebody plays a character for so long, they learn the nuances of how a character will act. And while there are good imitators out there, it's difficult, if not impossible, to live up to the original. If the original is beloved enough. Certain cases, like Bugs Bunny, or Disney characters, often find relatively good replacements. But, I mean, like, I was pretty bummed that, Alan Young, the voice of Uncle Scrooge, I believe he was also on Mr. Ed, passed away. I mean, he was crazy. I mean, he was like 97 years old. But, like, motherfucker was Scrooge McDuck. Like, and played him for many years. I guess, like, DuckTales is coming back. Probably those at that age, the studio would not have anticipated him living around a comparable back Scrooge. But man, but wait and see if I love DuckTales, Carl Barks stories, with the Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck comics are some of the like all-time like best comics, like out there. That's just about anybody in the American comic book industry, you know. And up there with like Will Eisner is Carl Barks. Carl Barks and Osamu Tezuka were homies. Tezuka was the most prolific comic book artist and auteur, animator, and an animated studio. One of the first, not the first, but one of the first post World War II Japanese animation studios. And so much so that just as Kafka created Kafka-esque, Karl Barks created Barksian works. For instance, like Hellboy derives a lot from the Barksian, from a Barksian style. There are adventure stories with that are self-contained adventures in foreign land, often dealing with mythology and legends. Sometimes treasure. In Hellboy's case, the organization, the Bureau of BP, Paranormal Research in the veteran. I can't remember. Basically, look into supernatural shit. In Scrooge McDuck's case, or in the case of the Donald Duck comics, the adventure-based ones, Scrooge is a freaking bajillionaire, you know, like he swims around in gold. He's so rich that physics don't apply to him. And, in order to get more treasure, motivation, Scrooge, who's older, brings along his nephew Donald, and Donald's nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. On Grand Adventures, which turn out to, you know, sometimes they have a supernatural twist. It's fun stuff. And in the case of Hellboy, yeah, but he also is protecting humanity in a certain aspect. He goes to investigate a case in wherever, and shit usually goes south. You know, whether it be ghosts, demons, mythological Japanese, Manian, other such figures of local mythos. I met Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, writer illustrator on all the Hellboy main series stuff, except for a few storylines where he had another illustrator in the first book, Seed of Destruction, which was co-written by John Arcudi, if I'm remembering correctly. What is it? I not. John Arcudi, is it? I don't know. It might not be him. John something. I had gotten I have a buddy in Brazil, and I've known him for a long time, and we would chat on MSN Messenger for extended periods of time. A lot of press, including Hellboy, video games, etc. Still talk to him today, just not with the same frequency. So I had the idea, I wanted to do some comics, or I wanted to do my own Hellboy comic, and I wanted to use Brazilian mythology. So I asked him some, like, stories he might have grown up hearing, or, like, you know, just things that are local to Brazil. And I got a few cool ones, like, and the one I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's spelled S-A-C-I. Oh, Yoshi. Oh, my cat just jumped up and sat on the controller. Yes. Hello. Hello. You're so warm. You want loving. Okay. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, Sachi. That's how I'll say it. S-A-C-I. Sachi. Sassy. And it was like a one-legged boy transported himself around in a little tornado with a pipe in his mouth. I think that was basically it. There was also like a horse without a head that had like fire coming out of its head that like roamed around forest, and they all had like, I had a few different ones, but that was the one I used in the Hellboy comic. When I met him, I showed him the comic. It was only like 2 or 3 pages, and he liked it, and we shared. And then I had a little sketchbook where I had the other ones where I drew little pictures of them and then notes, and we shared stories. And he told me about one goblin that I think it might have been Romanian, sneaks into people's houses and just steals their shoes. That's all it does, it just steals shoes. But yeah, I've read in several places that he was a big fan of, or is a big fan of Karl Barks, and it definitely reflects in his work. The comics are really well illustrated too. I mean, I will say, you know, there may be some sort of nostalgic bias for me, as growing up, instead of like storybooks, I would get read Karl Barks comics. But not until I was older that I realized who Karl Barks even was. But a lot of the stuff was read to me so young that I only had brief recollections of certain elements. I heard a noise, like Dune, like original Dune music. I'll look around. But yeah, you know, it was just kind of an added bonus to see that when researching him, he was as revered as he is and was.
None could stand before the Horde but the Doomslayer. Despair spread before him like a plague, striking fear to the Shadow Dwellers, driving them to deeper and darker pits. But from the depths of the abyss rose the Great One, a champion mightier than all who had come before.
Oh,
The
Yoshi.
Titan of
My cat who's sitting in my lap. His
ferocity
name's Yoshiro.
strode upon the plain.
He's just a kitten.
Faced the Doomslayer.
He's just over a year old.
On the desolate plains, the Titan fought
And I'll tell you his origin story.
countless that had fallen at the Doomslayer's hand. But there fell the Titan, and in his defeat, the Shadow Horde were routed.
In just a moment. Yeah. Yoshi, or Yoshiro. First off, was named by my parents. They wanted a Japanese name and passed a bunch by me. Within a week, he had his name. I'd say it was about a week. It all started with my parents saying they heard the crying of what sounded like a kitten or like a baby, and from our living room, mind you. and there were like people outside looking around. So some other people heard something as well. But they said something to me, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, there are people over there. You know, I'm sure they'll figure it out. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, stepping in or whatever. Then they heard it again the following night, and I heard it too. I was like, well, it's time to investigate. We went across the street, like 2 or 3 buildings from the left of us, across the street. Heard a little nom 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 nom. Yes. Hold on. He's purring really loud. Aww. Oh, your nails are so long. He's kneading my skin. Aww. Yes. No, don't. Yeah, see, he's going after the mic string. He's still a little baby. So, got some treats, like a little bowl. And my dad led me over to where he thought he heard it. I don't know if they had investigated. I can't remember. But there was little Yoshi, tiny, tiny little Yoshi in the bushes. And don't pick at the mic cord, Yoshi. Yeah, you can chew on my pants string, that's fine. Ouch. Not my finger. Ow! Yes. But I lured him out with a little bit of food. So he was hungry, he was famished. There we go. Alright. You hear me? I'm assuming the mic got disconnected because of the controller dying. Should have had it plugged in. Yeah, I found a little Yoshi under the bushes, and I grabbed his. Oh, you have good cat names. Oh, thank you, Leo. I grabbed his little scruff, and I grabbed him, and that was it. But he didn't fight me too much. And I ran across the street, made it into my house, put him in the upstairs bathroom. You know, because I have other cats and dogs, and being outside, fleas, and you know, whatever else. We had to get him to the vet before introducing him to the other animals. Yep, Yoshi, Curry, Garfield, yep. Odie. Garfield's deceased. Rest in peace, Garfield. Pork Chop, yeah, wow, you remember Pork Chop. Yep. Cotton was one. That was my first cat, was Cotton, and then it was Pork Chop. And then, Garfield. And then Curry. And then Odie. And now Yoshi. Yeah. Yeah, it's everybody. Yep, Cotton was an outside cat. It was all white. So many cats. More than some, less than others. But, Cotton was an outside cat. He wasn't overly affectionate, with me, but I was little baby. I believe I was, you know, probably only, maybe 2 years old, 3 years old, when he moved in with us. His origin is a bit mysterious to me. He was an outside cat, and he came inside one day, and so he was indoor-outdoor. And, he was all white, like his name would suggest, little pink nose. But I used to like to try to squeeze him and hug him, and he didn't like that. He was more timid, but I also didn't know how to handle cats when I was that young. Well, he died. He got hit by a car. I saw it. I was a little kid. I had called his name, and he started to cross the street. He would never come when I called his name. I was walking my dog Snowball, who was a small white Maltese who predated me. I'm just looking for secrets. It predated me. Oh yeah, I was walking her, and he was crossing the street, and he had almost made it, but the car was speeding, and it got his tail, and spun him around. Pap, 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 dead. Well, not dead immediately, but was by the time, unfortunately, that I got to him, because I was 7 years old, I want to say. And I was with my neighbor, and it was just kind of like an immense amount of grief at one time. Blinding grief. There you go. And I think anybody who's had a pet, you know, died that way, it's probably an accurate emotion description for how that feels. It's a bummer. It is the ultimate bummer. Like, probably, it's one step away from seeing, like, your kid hit by a car, you know? It's not fun. Cotton had hit by a car more than once, but he was an indoor-outdoor. He desired being outdoors. Two old ladies also saw it. They were petting him because he was known around the neighborhood. He was well liked. And the guy who hit him, he stopped, but then when he saw me freaking out, he booked it. So there wasn't really anything that could have been done either way. I mean, even if he did stop, you know, wouldn't have really made a difference. So, but to this day, I still won't drive over the speed limit on my street because of that. Still live in the same place. I have lived out of the same house. So I was probably actually about, no, I was 8 years old. Yeah. I was 8. I dug a grave for so many animals. I dug his. I dug Snowball's. Snowball actually had a wooden coffin made by my dad. She died of natural causes, or for the most part. She was like 19 years old. I mean, pretty old for a dog. Pork Chop and me were like super close. I loved that cat. But he got locked in a closet mistakenly for a week. And this is how. Tragedy. A week, maybe not that long. Several days. Something. Either way. My mother and I had gone to Ocean City to visit my grandmother. And at that time, my father worked a lot. He was always working. And poor Porky is, we probably call him Porky mostly, but Pork Chop, Porky, you know. We have my mother's room has sliding door, has a sliding door closet with like the mirrors and shit. You know how it goes. And yes, he just got mistakenly locked in there. He didn't die from that. After we found out and he wasn't feeling well, we took him to the vet and they found out that he was constipated. Because apparently he held his shit, I guess, while being in the closet. Maybe it had nothing to do with being in the closet. I don't know. But either way, continuing on, he was constipated. And when they gave him the enema, he had something with his heart, something with fluid filling up in his chest. So, they gave me at 11, 12 years old, an ultimatum. Either take him home, he'd die in about a week, probably from suffocation, or I could put him down right then and there, and end his suffering. So I did the obvious one, and I put him down. And so I held that cat as they injected him. Yeah. Yeah, he was a good kitty. And Garfield, we had adopted. Pork Chop's origin, I do know. He was a dumpster cat, or if not a dumpster cat, my dad found him in a storage unit or something like that. He had a broken leg, and my dad wanted to name him Scooter. Such sad cat stories. Yeah, a little bit. But, I mean, there were a lot of good times. You know, it's just, when you talk about them, you know, you give... I'm just kind of filling you in on the beginning and the end of each of these kitties. Wonderful kitties. Or at least from the time I knew them until the time they passed. all my cat friends. Because they're not, I mean, pet makes it sound like they're like my slave or something. You know, they don't really do anything for me. They're like more like my friend. Like a mooch that I don't mind, you know, supporting. Or like a child that never really grows up. You know, they're like friends. And that's like the best way I can really put it. Because, except under the eyes of the law, you know, they're not my property, you know, we coexist. And, you know, some animal friends I've been closer with than others, but, hey, getting surrounded by those motherfuckers. Ah, okay, good. So yeah, Porky my dad brought home, and he had a broken leg, so we helped him recover. And my dad wanted to name him Scooter, but it reminded me too much of the Muppet Scooter. And my sister and I thought that he looked like an overcooked pork chop when he rolled up to sleep. And in combination with, I mean, I was a fan of the show Doug. His dog was named Pork Chop. So that was just like another example. Or another reason, rather, why we named him such. But he was a sweet cat. He got along with everybody. Nothing really negative to say. So Garfield, there's a veterinary clinic relatively close to where I live. If you are familiar with the lay of the land, and you know where the McDonald's is, it's across the street from the McDonald's. Coming from my house, there's like an alley, and you can cross 140 to get to the McDonald's. There's a veterinary clinic to the right of that. And my dad saw something, white cat for adoption. Somebody just like left him there. And I guess he didn't have a name. His like medical records were left there, but as far as I know, he was unnamed. Because I'm not, if an animal already has a name when I meet them, I'm not gonna rename them. They've already been given, they've already been given a name. It'd be like if somebody met me and was like, "Oh, your name's Ralph. Well, now it's Pickle Pete." It's like it's kind of rude and kind of steals the identity they've been given. What time is it? 10:53. Yeah, I'll keep playing. I need to eat before it gets too late, but I'll keep going for now. Plus I got more stories. So yeah, my dad adopted Garfield. He kind of like ran it by us, and I was like, yeah, go ahead and adopt him. It was after, it was several years. It was before Pork Chop's death. They coexisted, and Garfield was very fat. He was a pure white cat, which people go, you know, why do you have an orange cat named Odie and a white cat named Garfield? And it's like, well, he ate a lot. He drooled. Never known a cat to drool, but he would just shove his face in the water, and he was the first cat. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of fun recollecting this. Nostalgic. You know, a little sad, but in a good way. Because I'm glad I remember this stuff, but that's interesting. That guy's like, oh, I don't like this snake in my chest. But, yeah, he was a very, he would talk a lot. I guess is the best way to put it. Like, no matter who you were, he was super friendly. He'd walk up to you and go, meow, 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 meow. He'd start a conversation. Like, oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, I gotta go collect more skulls, looks like. And, very affectionate. He'd hop up in your lap, rub you, and he would eat virtually anything. After some testing to figure out why that was, because obviously that's not normal for a cat, and it turned out that he had thyroid disease, which isn't fatal, but it can either, depending on if it's hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism, which I was, while it's in remission now, I have, I believe hypothyroidism, where your thyroid either produces like too much or too little of whatever, and it can either make you very skinny or very fat, and affect your appetite. Like you could eat a lot and not gain any weight, or you could eat very little and gain a lot of weight. Like you could eat like once a day a salad and still be huge. You know, shit like that, just because of your thyroid imbalance. But yeah, he got medication for it, and nobody knows how old he was. Like, god near impossible to tell, and cats can live pretty long, into their mid-20s sometimes. But he eventually got cancer in his leg. I'm trying to think. I think it was his right leg. Armor ammo. Armor ammo. Armor. And yeah, it was a tumor, and it continued to grow. But because of his unknown age and his obesity, it was not recommended that we amputate the leg, because that would have essentially stopped the cancer and potentially given him a longer life, but probably not much longer than, it was hard to say, you know, really. So the cancer spread throughout his leg, and eventually the tumor grew so big that his skin broke. Ooh. But I took care of that cat to his dying day. I medicated his leg, the different ointments. I gave him oral medication several times a day. Like, he was my homie, you know, like, when Pork Chop had to be put down, he he started sleeping with me at night, you know, because I was lonely and really depressed, sad. Because, like, my best friend, you know, I had to kind of put down, you know. And, yeah, so me and him got along really well. I'm gonna see what this thing says.
And in his terrible rancor between worlds, and through time, the Hellwalker found the wretch who shall not be named, but in his heresy was loyal to his evil cause. The wretch adorned the Doomslayer in a mighty armor.
It's not talking anymore, but the subtitles aren't going away. That's fine. Right, there we go. So, I still remember Garby, as he was affectionately called. I remember Garby's last night. We had linoleum floors. Our dogs pissed on the carpet too much, and we ripped it up and put down like linoleum. Like it might have been, I think it was just like stickers or something, like floor stickers, but and throw rugs. And poor Garby with his bad leg couldn't walk on his own anymore. Like he could kinda get around a little bit, but the floor is way too slippery. So like that portion he would have a lot of trouble with. And throughout the day he would call to me like for me to move him from place to place. And I've been doing that like all week. And at the time I was really into this restaurant called Roberto's Pizza Place. Because it was next door to cool, now closed record store called Record and Tape Traders. And I wanted to get this album by Motion City Soundtrack that was produced by Mark Hoppus. So I had my dad take me over after my parents got home. In fact, I don't know if, like, my mom came home separately, or if, like, what had happened. But I remember getting the CD, and then going into Roberto's Pizza and getting a call from my mom that Garfield was dead, and being really upset because I had ignored his like last two calls from me. I was like, you know, I'll be right back or whatever. And like, I don't know, subconsciously this still bothers me. I think because he's in my dreams a lot. He's not like dead. He's just been hiding in like another part of the house. But a lot of dead people appear in my dreams. A friend who killed himself 10 years ago often is in my dreams as like oh, he faked his death. That's right. I saw him open coffin at his funeral, and like in reality, and in dream world that was just a wax dummy, and that he faked his death as like an Andy Kaufman-esque stunt. Because I end up like running into him. It's always like fucking weird. But yeah, I had stuff like that happen a lot. I'm gonna check comments real quick. Commit this to memory. Oh, is that the album? Is that what that was called? Oh, that's so weird. That kind of fits in, kind of, too. If that's the title of the sound of the album. I definitely committed that fucking shit to memory because I remember getting home and poor Garby was lifeless. I love that cat. But, you know, it was his time, I guess. I don't necessarily think he was in pain. And I hope that he wasn't. You know, I hope that his passing was pleasant for him. And that's about all I can do. And continue to remember him and all that good stuff, because he's a pretty cool cat. And I will continue to tell many a story about him. He and Curry coexisted, and he and Odie coexisted. So he essentially is the bridge between the cat generations in my life. First generation being Cotton, Pork Chop, and then Pork Chop, Cotton, or Pork Chop, Cotton, Cotton, Pork Chop, Pork Chop, Garfield, Garfield Curry, Garfield Odie. Now Curry is 14, still doing well for the most part. She has cancer. However, I got her an appointment with an oncologist in Towson, and we're gonna make sure that she doesn't have cancer in other parts of her body, because it's for all I know located in just one part of her mouth. And the two different courses of action I was given is to have the portion of her jaw removed, that's not gonna happen, especially that much of an invasive surgery at her age. Just terrible idea. Or chemotherapy. And I was like, oh, chemotherapy, I don't know about that. But I looked into it when I got home, because she's my baby. She's my homie. We sleep together. She's cuddled next to me every night. She holds my hand with her paws. It's adorable. She talks to me with the meow meow meows, and I'll be very, very sad when she's gone. So I want to, do everything I can, anything I would for anybody else. That had the inability to do it for themselves, that I love and care about. So, getting her chemo, and from what I've read, chemotherapy does not affect cats and dogs the same way it affects humans. They don't get really the nasty side effects that human beings seem to get, like nausea, hair falling out, blah 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 blah. Rather that within a week of the chemotherapy, there may be a day where they are more sleepy than usual, a little less active than usual, but that usually passes within a day. And the treatment is known to be pretty effective for cats and doggies. I don't know how much it'll cost in the end, but Whatever it is, it's worth it. I don't care. It's like a blackjack story by Tezuka. Like any blackjack story. It's like if something really means something to you, you know, you'll do everything that you can and give everything you can, you know, to, you know. Keep it comfortable, happy, alive. And you know, some people might go, oh, that's silly, it's a cat, it's not a human being, but I don't know. Different strokes for different folks, man, you know. You know, an animal is not an inanimate object. And whether or not people want to see it this way, you know, human life is no more valuable than any animals. When it comes down to things, you know. That's an unpopular opinion, I know. Especially in the religious crowd. But, we're just smart monkeys, man, you know? Our genetics, yeah, are different to a degree, but we're still flesh and bone, and we're basically made out of the same things, you know? We have a consciousness, and, you know, most cats and dogs are self-aware, too. Dogs a little bit less so than cats, but does that really, you know, if something's self-aware, does that really mean that it's more valuable than another thing? Unless you want to say, like, valuable to science, valuable to progression. And what is progression anyway? You know, you can make the argument that progression is really, you know, destruction of the earth, you know, of the place we live, depending on what it is. I don't know. Dolphins have names for each other. Buddha. Yeah, exactly. Like Buddha, fucking, everybody's equal, you know? Like, he preached to the deer, you know, the deer park. You got, you know, it's partially respect, too. I mean, there's a lot. But, like I said, people are entitled to what they want to believe. It's just sad when, what they believe may not be as well informed or well thought out as, other individuals. But, you know, like I said, salt of the earth. The guy in Buddha Book 1, he used like a bunch of animal lives to save a human, and he was punished to live as a wolf man. Yep. Exactly. Like, a life is a life, essentially, and you don't see it as much in Western culture because the presence of reincarnation isn't as prominent, but you see it in Native American culture to a certain degree. But, I mean, that's how I feel about it. Oh, reincarnation, right. Because a human being could reincarnate as an animal, essentially, and in the theory of reincarnation, a human being most likely will never reincarnate as another human being. There's like it depends on where the idea of reincarnation is coming from, because it's an idea that's seen in a lot of different religions, cultures, and whatnot. But from I believe Mahayana Buddhism, you generally do not reincarnate as another human being. Again, there are different variations of this too, because I believe there are some versions of Buddhism where the Bodhisattva are reincarnations of the Buddha, or so on. So I don't know. But essentially it means like you fucking squish a spider, that spider could come back as a dog, or it could come back as a human being, and also depending on who's talking about reincarnation, your deeds in your life could affect what you come back as, or what your life will be like when you are reincarnated, essentially. There's a lot of interesting, I don't know if evidence would be the right word, but a lot of interesting circumstances that could potentially support the idea of reincarnation. People having unexplained past memories, for example. I'm dead. With that thing about killing bugs, I always wondered where the cutoff point. What about killing microscopic organisms? I believe it extends to plant life. Again, it really depends, I think, on who's talking about reincarnation. Because it's just an idea, I guess. But, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you could be reincarnated as a blade of grass, or a tree. Because, like, your body kills germs. I mean, I'm gonna say there's potential for it. I don't know, that's a very interesting idea. Life is a pretty broad term, you know? You know, there's a whole life begins in the womb argument. I say I don't give a fuck. You know, to be crude about it, but, well, it's not even me personally. Here. Just give me a second. I'm gonna die again. Crap. I needed that health boost. There we go. I get it. Or is there more shit gonna come to try to kill me? Okay, good. Checkpoint probably reached. Shit. Okay. Now, maybe I've talked about this on here before. I don't know. But here's a line of questioning. Alright. 1. Do you eat meat? Yes? No? Okay. So yes. Now, are you pro-life or are you, what is it, pro-choice? Oh, well, I'm pro-life. And why is that? Well, because the baby's alive when it's in the mother. Even though it's not a fully formed human yet? Yes. Do you eat meat? Yes. Do you eat eggs?
Yet as the mighty
Yes.
Titan fell, and dread engulfed the armies of doom, the demon priests of the blood temples laid a trap
So,
to capture the scourge
do you know how those foods are processed?
even by the vanquishing
I don't know, in a factory?
the Hellwalker.
And you have to kill the animals to eat them, right? Right.
The blood keep
You know how they do that?
pious fervor.
No, not really. Or, yeah. Let's just say yeah. Let's say they're aware. They're aware of the process, because a lot of people are. Or they've seen a documentary or something. They have an idea of what it is, and they know it isn't pretty. So you don't mind that the animals essentially suffer for you to eat them. Mind you, me personally, real talk, I do eat meat. But going on. Eesh. So you're aware that there's suffering involved in order for you to consume something that essentially nutritionally isn't much better for you than this or that is not, you know, an animal that, you know, like, has nerve endings, feelings, can feel emotions, love, you know. Maybe they lower intelligence, but so is your dog, and unless you're being spiteful, you probably wouldn't say you would eat your dog either, or your cat. But they're of lower intelligence than you, right? But pig's about the same intelligence as a dog. But you have no problem with eating a pig. What's the word for it? Maybe it's object dissonance. Essentially, not having to see it or do it yourself essentially disconnects you from the process and lets you be more dismissive of suffering. However, in abortion, it becomes a more relatable aspect because of the ability for anybody with a dick or a puss to make a child. And then it comes down, there are, you know, obviously other factors like religion that may influence the idea whether or not it's biblically from the religion or something that is more community based. Cognitive dissonance. Maybe like multicellular organisms, yeah. But yeah, not having to deal with that makes it a lot easier to consume it. The state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes. Dissonance. But, object permanence. That's what I was thinking of. Object permanence. Object permanence and cognitive dissonance are the two things that, I think make people more dismissive when it comes to animal life for being consumed for food versus human abortions, which have arguably a bigger impact scientifically because of stem cell research and like the things that they're able to do with the fetuses, which people object to as well. But we experiment on animals every day, whether it be here in the United States or elsewhere. But my personal perspective on abortion is that it is a while it could be used irresponsibly, as in somebody having a loose sex life and having multiple abortions, which is, I want to say, probably not as common as some people want to think it is. It essentially opens up a black market for abortions because people are still going to want to get them, whether or not it is legal. It's just the way it is, you know. And by creating any form of prohibition when it comes to abortion is absurd because it leads to unsafe surgeries and processes. I mean, the most common and homemade method of getting an abortion or doing it yourself is using a coat hanger, and that is horribly dangerous, and it is extremely well known as well. So if somebody is willing to get rid of a child, they will. And then you're not only damaging, you know, your life in the womb, you know, as some people might be trying to protect, but you're also hurting a person who has lived for at least, you know, 13 years. I think that's when the body matures, but most likely older than that, and damaging themselves to the point where they may not be able to either live a normal life after that, or could end up, you know, bleeding to death internally and dying. Neither's fun. So that's how I feel about it. You know, it's already regulated for them, as far as I know. You know, it's so I don't know why. I know why people, because everybody has a different perspective on things, and that's all right. But I don't know, complex shit, man. I don't want any of these things. I do that one, I guess. Then again, it's just my personal perspective, and they're just ideas that, you know, could be subject to change. Nothing, no idea to me is permanent, because the older you get, hopefully the more you learn, the more you remember, and the more you pick up, and the more that can shape your opinions. Hopefully, you know. But, you know, to each their own, once again. You know, if you don't want to do that, that's fine, because you gotta have the bad shit in the world to have the good shit. That's yin and yang, baby. You know, one cannot coexist without the other. And whether or not they want to, they stay relatively in balance. I don't particularly think that one will overcome the other completely, because everybody has a different view on different things. What may be good for you or me may not be good for somebody else. And that's and here's shit. It's gonna get a little more complex. All right, you know. And this is all right. So I'd say like 99% of people would say that no, killing other people is unpleasant and bad, and I wouldn't want to do it. Well, it's probably less than 99%, but I'd like to think that a large amount of people would say that no, I would not want to kill other people. Although you do hear a lot of, oh, if it was legal, I'd kill so-and-so. It's a little depressing. But I take that as just a big mouth. You know, those people don't. I don't think they're thinking as much about what they're saying as they'd like you to believe. But for that hypothetical 1% or 10% or whatever it is, you know, they like to kill other people. And that's what I call, you know, mentally ill. I think a lot of people would. Or, you know, on a more simplistic level, evil. You know, that wouldn't be a word that would surprise me. But from their perspective, of what feels right to them, just like what feels right to you and me, is just different, you know? It doesn't justify it as being right. But those are vague words, open to interpretation. And again, deal with perspective and cultural influence. In other words, you can see it a lot in food. That's like a good example. Things that like you'd never normally eat, that are considered appealing elsewhere in the world, is a good example of how culture can influence what you find right and wrong, or good and bad. Most cultures, though, do not promote violence. Thankfully, though others do, you know. So then you go, well, okay, Ralph, well, what makes you the authority on what's good and bad? And this is just me saying, I'm not, you know, and nobody really is. you have to work within your own consciousness, but at the same time, if you don't give respect, you won't get respect, you know, through messages, you know, and it's not just, you know, a spiritual or conceptual thing. It's also ties in sort of to like you know, like scientific theories in which, you know, a positive reaction, you know, creates a negative or equal reaction, etc. and so forth, you know, whether it be like, yeah, having to deal with momentum, those sort of things can reflect in, geez, I'm popular, getting some texts. So my rule of thumb is treat others the way that I'd like to be treated. And if they don't like being treated the way I like being treated, and they're nice about it, and it leads to like a conversation, you know, it just helps me, you know, learn and see something from a perspective I normally wouldn't. I like to think of myself as flexible in that respect. But, you know, I don't know. It's all just speculation. And I'm just speculating. Jesus Christ. My dad's sending me all these texts, which is nice. It's just, he sent me a picture. He got my little me guy somehow from like Miitomo and Nintendo shit, right? He's been sending me pictures with it. He only sent me one right now, but he cut out like a picture of hair, like long hair, put it on him, and he says, "Ralph G. Harrison, all hair must pass," which is like a joke when it comes to, you know, there's George Harrison and all things must pass. And then he says, "Hare Krishna to y'all too. Last member of the Fuddles. Played a one-string uke. Was bigger in North Africa than South Africa," which is a joke about Rodriguez. Jesus, Jesus, Sixto Rodriguez. Getting late, 11:38. Like, I kind of wanted Wendy's. Like, not gonna lie. They close at midnight. And the only thing after midnight is McDonald's. And I got, like, some frozen meals and shit, but I mean, I eat those every night. Then again, I eat Wendy's almost every night also. I don't know, is it worth going out for? Hard to say. but 20 minutes till closing. Same goes if I want Burger King or like literally anything else, just not McDonald's. Not a big, I mean personally I'm not a big McDonald's, but I love McDonald's lore. I love their history of advertising. And I think some of the food is pretty alright. But I think it's, geez, he's still sending them. Still records on a half-track machine, easier to delete than Pop Shit Hook records. That deletes the Pop Shit hooks that sell gold records. Unknown in Liverpool. Huh. Oh, he's gonna send me another one. You see his little ellipsis. Hey, Chick-fil-A. Oh, hi Yoshi. Little Yoshi's back. Was declared dead, but would never admit he crossed any street without his bandmates holding his strumming hand. I hope he's getting ready to send another one. Now, he must be pretty bored. I always invite my folks to come downstairs, but I don't know. They're not into sitting in a basement. Even if it is a basement game center. Shit seems kind of final bossy, doesn't it? That's probably not. Alright, let's see. You're the boss, bro. ammo. Shit. Like, how do you dodge that fucking crap? Let Clapton know he had inseminated all his pets while God was on tour just to get even about what he had forgotten. Oh, unknown in Liverpool, not Liverpool. Oh, maybe he probably meant Liverpool. Ah, double dick. You know what? Oh, I can't attack him with the chainsaw. Yay, useless. Ah, there we go, ammo. Woof. Had given Dylan his throat lozenges by 1968 after their motorcycle race gone. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus, fuck. This guy. He is a tough. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to Wendy's now. Maybe we'll go to McDonald's. It's been a while since I've had McDonald's food. Seriously? I guess like the BFG just doesn't work on him. Harder than Dark Souls. Yeah, this guy's tough. But I'm starting to figure out his patterns, so. Wow, the shotgun actually works really well against this guy. Ooh, I got his little scepter thing. Wendy's used to stay open until 1 here. And then they changed it. Now it's only midnight. Hell guards. Do I get his sword though? No, I don't. Yay. Holy crap. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Nice. Ah, I guess this is the beginning game. I'll keep going. Why not? You reclaim the crucible and returning to Mars. You must close the well, the power source of Hell portal on Mars. And to do this, you'll make one last hell jump. Samuel, to the last location. You need your assistance to carry it out. Oh, you looked up the Doom bosses? How many more are there? Just one, right?
Of the crucible, and with it the means to contain the power of the well.
Yep, one more.
We have a plan to send you there. Vega will walk you through the process.
Vega, are you HAL 9000? I think Vega's HAL 9000, man. I don't have a good feeling. There's big computers with artificial intelligence that take control of places are almost never good.
4 terawatts of power to sustain my operational capabilities, but it has been decided that we can use that power to send you to the source of the portal. I will not survive the procedure and am unable to self-terminate, so I will walk you through the process. All interior and exterior facility doors have been secured. You will need to begin by finding a way in and disabling the security systems.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to die, Vega. It seems like Vega's actually a nice guy. It says I am Vega, though, is the title. Which makes me wonder. Oops, that's not the right thing. This one. Is there anything else? Yep, and after I finish Doom, which will be tonight, still need to finish the last portion of Tembo, and I need to finish beating Dr. Wily, Eggman. The last part of Dr. Wily's stage, the one where you have to refight all the robots and W Man himself, but that's bound to take a few hours. Tembo will probably take a few hours also, I guess, but it won't be me replaying the same exact content most likely over and over again until I can figure out patterns and get lucky. And then Alien Isolation will be the next, I guess, main game that I play. Kind of like how Doom or Uncharted or otherwise
Terminate in this maintenance facility. Each termination point is protected by an
have
electrified
always
field.
been the focuses in my streams, Dark Souls 3, etc. And when I need a break, just to freshen the palate, I have these little games on the side, whether it's Mega Man Tembo or I don't know. I got some other download titles that I may stream, but Alien Isolation is the next disc-based game that I will be playing. So look forward to that. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I mean, I'll take requests. There are other games I have that I've beaten. That I haven't streamed. There are a few games I haven't streamed that I'm partially way through, like the Lego Jurassic World game, or Godzilla, or Dark Souls 2. Didn't finish that one. Or the Killzone game. It came with my PS3. I played it like briefly when I first got the system, but didn't care much for it. But I'm willing to give it another shot. Those are all choices. But yeah, let me know in the comments section below, or yeah, I don't know, just yell really loud in your house and maybe I'll hear it. If you yell loud enough, anybody can hear. I know it's summer when I can start smelling my armpits. Kind of reminds me of the beach in a weird way, or like walking down the boardwalk, you know, because like it doesn't matter if you wear deodorant if you're like going swimming, because that shit washes right off. So then you just smell like, I mean, I don't think I smell particularly bad. I smell manly, musky.
Auxiliary now security network offline.
Here's the thought for you. We never stop moving until we're dead. And even then, like, microorganisms and shit are still, like, moving on our body. But are those really us, you know? It's like, would the bugs be eating your body? They're not you. I don't know. But I guess we are made out of, like, tiny, tiny little bugs in a way.
Primary neural security network offline.
My vital operating systems are now vulnerable. I recommend destroying my coolant system first. This will accelerate the destabilization process.
Ooh. I got 8. I'm gonna go for pizza. Too bad pizza's all closed now. What shot out his eye? That was pretty sweet. me.
Access granted.
Oh, there's a secret nearby.
Access granted.
Guess that's what got that guy. Don't murder me. Ooh, don't murder me.
Weaponizing demons for a brighter tomorrow. Should you find yourself caught in a level 3 demon contamination event, it is important that you remain calm. A tier 3. Unlike everything else in your life, your work here matters.
That's me hitting the jump button. He can't jump in here.
Early tests of Vega's protoplasmic circuitry
Okay.
showed temperatures exceeding 1.2 megakelvins, 173 times hotter than the surface.
You are looking at the only absolute zero cooling system ever constructed. It took years to perfect. Destroy each of the 4 coolant generators. Once they are no longer functional,
Temperature rising.
now.
Low roof, yeah, it was. The demons don't like that I'm blowing up. They're like, no, we want to stay here on Earth. It's a lot cooler here. It's not as hot. Oh wait, this isn't Earth. This is Mars. Never mind. I'm dumb. I've been playing this game how long, and then I say we're on Earth. Oh, I somehow broke the second one too. Huh. That's good. Come on. Yeah, just need help. Where'd the other running guy go? one more. Eesh. Get that health. Get that health. Get that health. Motherfucker, get that health. There she blows. Huh. Oh. I bet he's like the last guy or something. Yeah.
I now move to where my core is located to complete this process.
Huh. Don't murder me. I want you. That's why I like that song "Dire Wolf" by the Grateful Dead, because that's the chorus. Ooh, don't murder me. Ah, here we go.
The train below will take you to the entrance.
Oof.
For you to gain access to my core, the demonic threat must be removed from the room ahead.
Of course, it's one of those guys. Oh, they're infighting. That's pretty cool. And I'm in dead. Mars is cool. Maybe one day we'll live there, but probably not. Not you or I. Or perhaps our great-great-great-grandchildren, if the Earth hasn't already been destroyed by aliens. Or mice. A mice uprising. Mouse uprising. Mice uprising. Mouse uprising. Ooh, just had some heartburn there.
For you to gain access to my
That
core,
is-
the demonic threat must be removed from the room ahead.
That's- That was like a subway car. Well, you gotta get around on the base somehow, I guess. Oh, seriously? That guy took the shot. It was like a nobody guy, too. These guys are a pain in the fucking ass. Look how many shots they take. Better get help from that. Oh, wow. Go. Oh my god. Hi, kitty. What's up? That's curry, right? Yeah, 'cause I like curry. That's squish, squish, squish. You hungry, curry? I'll feed you soon. I haven't even eaten it all today. I need to. Once I beat Doom, that'll be time for food. Hell demons keep it up and running. Eat, eat. Yeah, they do keep it up and running. That would make sense, right? Mangia, mangia. Still hear growlings. Yeah, I mean McDonald's. Oh crap. McDonald's doesn't close, so it's not like any rush. And I have frozen shit here. Not much, but I got something. Hey, Covery. You wanna come up?
I am losing carrying capabilities. Control of minimal.
I wish I had more ammo.
Once Vega's core is destroyed, the vacuum of energy will pull you back through to hell. We have your destination set to the well's location. Now use the crucible to power it down, and the portal here on Mars will be closed permanently. They will not allow access to the well without a fight. But I'm sure that's what you're looking
Bug.
for, isn't it?
What was that? Is that a fly? God. Something landed on my head and went bzz, bzz. I think it was just a fly. It scared me. It's been a long journey. It looks like I'm going back to hell.
Process is complete.
Thank you, Vega.
Well, my work here is done. Thanks for playing. Yup. I wonder how long the last level is. It's already 12:30. I might as well just keep going. No problem, Leo. Have a safe trip home. Actually, I think I'm done. I'll see what it looks like, but I need to eat. So I'm gonna hop off for a little while. But I'm definitely finishing this shit tonight. No doubt. Unless it's just like a boss fight. Then I guess I'll do it, but... My stomach's pretty unhappy with me. My throat's burning from not eating. My chest is all tight. The well. Yep. So I'll save this mission for a little later. Thanks for watching Basement Game Center. This has been Ralph, your host, playing Doom 2016. Be sure to tune in a little bit later for a another episode where I finish up Doom. Once again, thanks for watching, and have a good night.